You know, sometimes people use the terms cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, box truck expediting, but they have no idea. They have no idea what those terms really mean. So we want to take a few minutes and really sort of solidify your understanding of those concepts, because if you are going to have a successful cargo van business in general, or sprinter van or a box truck, you need to understand the expediting part of things, okay? So here's an overview I really want you to pay attention to. So when we talk about expediting, we're speaking about speed. Obviously, speed is part of the expedition, but there are other criteria you have to pay attention to. For example, punctuality. For example, contractual agreements. Shippers in general are they are stricter when it comes to expediting, because basically you have a lot of business involved. People have like the loads must be delivered on time. Okay, it's really important to really understand also that there are several ways to ship expedited freight. So expedited is great for both urgent and high value shipments. High value, which means, boss, if you are going to position yourself as a cargo van expediting, driver, you got to really be aware that you will be transporting high value shipments. Okay, and it's really important also to understand that time is literally money, and losing one means what? Losing the other. We see a lot of cargo van newbies, right? And they just like, yeah, I want to do expediting, and the next thing you know, and you start asking questions, they have no clue of what kind of business they're getting themselves into. And one thing that you need to pay attention to is, as I said before, punctuality, contractual agreement. You have to communicate with the customer, no matter what. No matter what. When we talk about expediting, there's not such a thing as too much communication. No, there's no instance in the last 30 years we've been actually following this industry. We've been actually digging into our own business clients' files. We have never seen an instance where people say, well, you're communicating too much. No. But we've seen cases where people are saying, oh, well, you have not been communicating. Lack of communication is really bad when it comes to expediting. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really wonderful to have you here. And I just love to have this sort of convos with you every now and then. You have to understand that we have there's a lot of reasons why expediting should be a great opportunity for you to actually diversify your revenue base. Because competition is crazy on the load boards, right? I just want to say right off the bat, competition, like the rates are going down. You have freight dispatchers are fighting, the brokers are fighting. You have some lanes that are really complicated. You have very complicated lanes, and if you want to actually position yourself in, let's say, as a cargo van expediting driver, be sure there are a few things I want you to pay attention to. First of all, competition is crazy. Be ready to work at odd hours. I mean, I'm talking about working, in the wee hours of the morning. I mean, your husband or your wife is sleeping and you just like on the road. You're doing OTR. So you're not going to be home all the time to make love to your spouse. Okay. See your children, tuck them in bed. So you have, at least at the beginning, you're going to have some kind of sacrifices. If anybody tells you the opposite, they're just lying to your face. They're lying to your face. They have not been in this business for long enough. Okay. We have been in this business for longer than some people have been alive. So when you're thinking about 30 years, 35 years, we've seen all the cycles, all the economic cycles, up and down, up and down. I'm telling you, if you want to do expediting, you are going to work odd hours. You just be ready to be called at any moment. Be willing to go the extra mile, literally, boss, literally, and be ready to accept, to adapt to the client's hauling demands. So here's the decision for you. Keep in mind that the shipper has many options. So you got crazy competition out there. Okay. And when we talk about the vehicles that you can use to ship expedited, you can use the sprinter vans and box trucks. Okay. And cargo vans also, depending on the geography, you can actually use a full truckload. You can use the passenger vehicles. Yeah, there are instances where you can actually use the passenger vehicles to do expediting. By the way, boss, let me quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, box truck expediting. I'm really trying to go back to the origins of the word, because people actually, again, it's kind of funny. You start talking, you go to happy hour, you go to a social event, people talk about, yeah, I'm doing cargo van expediting, or I want to do cargo van expediting, and then you start asking questions. Do you really understand what that term means? No. So this is why I'm just clarifying things for you. Here's the approach I really want you to adapt if you want to make a lot of cash as a cargo van, sprinter van, box truck expediter. You need to see things from the shipper's point of view, okay? And by this I mean you gotta imagine why the shipper is actually asking for your services in the first place. Why do they need you? Well, shippers in general use expediting drivers or expediting logistics when speed matters. In other words, let's say they have some element of urgency here. Let's say assembly line crisis, right? Retail replenishment, LTL recovery, disaster freight. Or when it's high value. So when it's high value, you have to understand that expedited is not just for those times when the clock is ticking. The vehicle options at your disposal and the door-to-door service you get when you ship expedited are perfect for high-value freight that you absolutely don't want to get harmed in transit. So a shipper, for example, will want to have an expediter take care of expensive rugs, for example, historical artifacts, major awards and trophies, and crates of rare liquor or wine. So the bottom line here is what? When the load is being transported is worth thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, the shipper has no problem actually calling upon the services of an expediter. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to really see things from the shipper's perspective. So when they call you, you understand that they are either under pressure or they have to ship something of high value. Obviously, you have to charge accordingly. That's really what it is, because you're not a charity. I always like to remind you that you're not a charity. So don't you try to be like, yeah, I want to be a competitor, but I'm going to lower my rates. You can lower your rates to a certain point, but you have to maintain your profit margin. Okay, and so two elements when you think about expediting, it's either because the shipper is under pressure to actually transport the loads from point A to point B, or the load is of high value. Keep those two in mind, because you're going to remember them when you are setting your rates, right? Your rate per hour, your RPH, rate per contract, RPC, RPM, rate per mile, or rate per project, RPP. Let me give you a few pro tips here. It's really important to understand that there are a few essential things expedited shippers do. So your customers, those who are calling you, when they call you, you need to understand that you want to ask them to have certain things ready. For example, you need to ask the shipper to have their shipment details ready. And this is important because, see, if something happens, they will say, oh, well, it was you, the driver. And you don't want to be in a situation where you actually feel like, oh, okay, you have been wrongly accused, right? So you got to cover your ass. Boss, you got to cover your ass. I don't care how, quote unquote, trustworthy you believe the shipper is. You never know. People play games in this industry. I'm telling you, like, if somebody believes that they can actually win because they actually they effed up themselves and they're trying to blame, like they're trying to pass blame on somebody else because they don't want to acknowledge that they effed up, then you really have to cover your ass. Okay, so make sure that the shipper has shipment details ready. So when you get, like, when you actually pick up the load, you want to verify things like shipment dimensions. I'm talking about number and sizes of cases, pallets, etc. You want to pay attention to the freight's weight. You want to really clarify with the shipper the origin and destination. You want to clarify things like pickup and delivery requirements. So the point I'm trying to make here is what? The point I'm trying to make here is that you want clarity. You want to instill transparency into the whole process. so that you and the shipper are on the same page. Because the bottom line here is that, again, I want to go back to what I'm saying. What I care about you, I care only about you. I want you to cover your ass, because the shipper is going to cover his or her ass anyway. If something were to go bad, they will be quick to actually accuse you, whatever. So be clear. Make sure you have the shipment details ready. Everything is clear cut. It's written down. Everything is fine. No problem. Don't you go with verbal instructions. No, everything must be written. The next thing I want you to do here is to, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, box truck expediting. I'm just explaining to you things you need to know if you want to get yourself into this line of business, okay? The second thing I want you to do here is to communicate all of, you need to be clear. You have to communicate with the shipper to make sure that you have a clear idea of the pickup and delivery requirements. Here, and I'm not talking about just having everything in writing. I'm talking about being sure about the point A and the point Z, like the pickup and delivery requirements. So you got to be like, here we're talking about the logistics, the actual logistics, the geography of the place, the logistics, the infrastructure, right? The facilities. So you want to ask the shipper if they have a loading dock, for example. So if the shipper's facility can only be accessed via loading dock, then what happens here is that you, the driver, you will need a box truck or a dock high vehicle. Okay, in order to load a sprinter van or cargo van from a dock, the facility needs to have a loading ramp for the forklift to drop down to ground level. So see, those are the little things, but they are so important. Okay, if the shippers has facilities, then you need to be clear about what kind of a timing that you need there. Okay, and you also need to ask the shipper whether or not he or she has loading and unloading crews. Okay, because it's a common pain point for drivers to arrive at a delivery facility only to be greeted by a single consignee and no one else inside to help unload their truck. So you have to think about that. Okay, and so loading and unloading are outside the normal scope of driver's duties. So if you're listening to me right now, you are an owner operator. You want to get into expediting business, or you are already in expediting. If you are already in expediting business, I think you need to be clear about the fact that your duties are not to load and unload. Okay, if you as a driver absolutely have to, you have to do it, but this will likely result in a renegotiated rate, and there could be a delay in the completion of your delivery. So be clear about that. Okay. So this is really important. So whether you have professionals at the shipper's place to grab the pallets, or you simply want to ask, let's say, personnel to kind of lend a hand, you, the driver, don't you take everything like, this is my job, I have to do everything. No, you don't have to. It's really important to understand that when we talk about cargo van expediting, we're talking about box truck expediting. We speak about, we have sprinter van, cargo van, box truck. The urgency does not impact your rate. So I was quickly talking to you earlier about the fact that you're going to have to, when we talk about delivery business in general, there are 4 ways to actually monetize your services. So you can do RPC, rate per contract, RPH, rate per hour, RPM, rate per mile, and RPP, rate per project. So you're going to have to see what really works for your boss. And it's not about like, I'm going with rate per hour because I think that, if they're charging me like if I go there and the package is not ready, I'm charging them by the hour anyway. Well, this could work in certain circumstances, but again, it all depends on the client. It depends on the geography. It depends on your experience and history with that particular client. Because sometimes I can tell you for a fact that we have actually analyzed several data points, and we saw that having an RPP, like a rate per project, or RPC, rate per contract, is a lot better because it gives you more flexibility. So urgency does not impact your rate, and so you have to be clear. So if let's say the clients want to renegotiate the rate with you, you should be open. Okay, you should be open. And one thing I want to say here is that just make sure everything is written. So what time you got to be there? What time you got to pick up the loads? What are the conditions for you to pick up the loads? You know, what time do you have to deliver? What are the conditions, the infrastructure, whatever, like everything needs to be said in advance and agreed upon. And again, it has to be in writing. Boss, I want to insist on that because I see a lot of folks like, you know, you are in delivery business and you just conduct business verbally. That's just a lot of, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. Don't do this. Everything must be in writing. One thing I want you to really think also is that if you are going to get into cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, or let's say box truck expediting, one of your competitors will be the 3PLs. 3PLs, third-party logistics. And so there are a lot of ways you can actually fight those 3PLs. You can either work with them, in other words, they're your friends, they're your buddies, or you just develop another strategy to make sure that you don't get a lot of flack, a lot of opposition, a lot of commercial opposition from them. Okay, and you have to understand the vast majority of expedited drivers are independent contractors. They own or lease their own equipment, and they rely on larger companies with whom they contract to find them loads, right? And larger companies, sometimes they go to freight brokers or freight dispatchers. And so when you have third-party logistics, for example, you are able to actually work with them. You are able to get them to actually provide you with loads and opportunities every now and then. So this is kind of fine. But if you are, usually 3PLs are best for, like if you have a large company, like very big company like Walmart and whatnot, they actually have, they actually will subcontract their logistics parts to 3PLs. And it's up to you now to actually work for that 3PL, to do cargo van expediting for that 3PL. Okay. And one thing you also need to understand here is that when we talk about 3PLs, they have a distinct advantage when it comes to cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, and box truck expediting in general, because they actually can provide a centralized hub for finding drivers in an extremely fragmented market. They have connections to drivers nationally to actually fund capacity in any region. They can provide a single point of contact for transportation needs beyond expedited as well as, non-expedited. They are often large enough companies that they are staffed around the clock to fill any urgent request. And they can offer transparency and tracking updates through their representative or online portals. So the point I'm trying to make here is that if you want to make money in this industry as a cargo van expediter, you want to consider actually, working with the 3PL. The 3PL will really help you out. They will provide a consistent stream of business to you, and you're able to, you can maintain your cargo van, your solo operation for a long time without finding the need to actually scale. I mean, every business has to scale anyway, but the need to scale will not be as urgent as if you're actually working on your own. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just spoke to you about cargo van expediting, sprinter van expediting, box truck expediting, and I give you the overview, the decision, the approach, the pro tips, and the recap. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.